We have put together this short video to demonstrate some of the basic points of a typical flat track installation. Here are the basic components of a typical flat track hardware set. We start by laying out the wall for the track installation. Measure from the floor up to position the height of the first hole as well as laterally from the edge of the jamb. Once you have the first hole laid out, go ahead and drill the hole for the lag screw. You'll want to be sure to drill into either a stud or a solid header for support. Lay out the end hole by leveling across from the first hole and then drill again. After this is done, you can then hang the track from the two end holes that you have just drilled. Install the spacer between the wall and the track and insert the lag screw. The bumper stops are also installed at this time. Tighten the lag screws snug, making sure not to over-tighten them to break the drywall. Once you have both ends tight, you can then drill through the center holes using the spacer as a guide. Now that all of your holes are drilled, you can install the rest of the spacers and lag screws. Now that you have the track mounted, check one last time for level. Now we move on to the installation of the floor guide. Position the guide so it will run in the center of the door and is even with the opening side of the jamb. When you have the guide positioned, drill the floor for the mounting screws. The type of floor you have will determine the type of screws needed to mount the floor guide. Now you need to cut the channel in the bottom of your door for the floor guide. We're using a circular saw for this, but a router can also be used. Next, we need to lay out the door for the hangers. Consult the installation drawing for the proper location of the hangers. Once you have the holes laid out, go ahead and drill your door. We pre-drill the top of the door for the anti-jump blocks. After you pre-drill the holes, run the screws in and back out again. This will help with the final installation of the blocks. Now attach the hangers using the carriage bolts with the flat washers and acorn nuts. Tighten the nuts to secure the hangers to the door. Now we lay out the door for the handle installation. Once you have the handle located, drill the holes for the screws. Now screw the handle in place. Once your hardware is attached to the door, you can now hang the door on the track. Once the door is hung, you can now install the anti-jump blocks. Line the blocks up with the pre-drilled holes and install the screws. By running the screws in before the door is hung, it makes this part of the installation go much easier. The installation is now complete. Test the door to be sure it rolls freely and you have no obstructions.